Good morning. My name is Assistant Professor Alparslan Kelleci. I have been working for the university for almost about a year. So I would like to salute everyone who's listening to us. And good morning from İstanbul Gelişim University. And today we're going to be having a conversation with Dr. Alola, and who's also an assistant professor and one of the most prominent researchers in the university and also in the world. But before we start our conversation concerning how to write a good article in a top-tier journal, I would like to give a brief information concerning the university. So İstanbul Gelişim University is one of the biggest universities in Turkey, yes. Right? It's
yes.
In terms of the number of students, in terms of like the internationalization,
Yes.
In terms of the number of foreign students,
Yes.
as well as like not only the number of students, the foreign students,
Yes.
but the faculty staff,
Faculty
right?
staff, yes.
And
in terms of number of accreditations, number of programs as well, the university is it's achieving huge success in the space of very short period of time. You can imagine the university was established in 2008, and just within 12 years now, you can imagine the level of success this university has achieved.
Great. So you're saying that even though the university has been founded in 2008,
Yeah.
in a very short time,
Yeah.
it grew like exponentially.
Yes, yes.
It's an achievement, and we would like to congratulate our rector,
Yes.
Professor Burhan Aykaç,
Yes.
for his vision in achieving this success, because he has a great contribution.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And the other thing also, today we're going to be having a conversation, an interview, but before we start, I would like to give a brief presentation about you.
Okay, thank
Right?
you.
So Dr. Alola is an assistant professor in the Department of Economics and Finance,
Finance,
right?
yes, yes.
And you have been teaching courses both at the undergrad level
Yes.
and graduate level.
Yes.
And what courses have you been teaching, sir?
In the graduate level, I've been, from my first semester, I've been teaching Introduction to Economics 1. Also, in this current semester, I'm currently teaching the year 3 students in Environmental Economics and Sustainability, which is actually my field.
Okay.
So, yes.
This is your domain area.
Yeah, this is my domain area,
Right.
So,
Okay.
also, I'm teaching the year 2 student History of Economic Thought. For the graduate student, for this semester, I'm not actually giving any classes right now. But last semester, I taught political economics. The previous semester as well, I taught analysis of macroeconomics indicator. So these are the few courses I've been handling in Gelişim, in Istanbul Gelişim University.
Okay, right. Sustainability is a growing field, right?
Yes,
And
actually
it's
growing field.
multifaceted. It has many aspects. It's a large domain, and
Yes.
then you're working on the environmental sustainability.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, because when you say sustainability, I mean there is no limit to what should be sustained. So if you talk about finance, okay, there should be sustainability. If you talk about macroeconomics, there should be sustainability, either in the energy sector, in the environment, in marketing. Okay,
Right.
so and that is why it's so broad area.
Okay, right. I'm also you're working on the environmental side, and then I've started to pursue my research in the area of sustainable marketing.
Marketing, yes.
I know that it's a huge domain.
Yeah.
And Dr. Alola, you also has been named according to the Stanford University Global Scientist list.
Yes.
You have been named as one of the most prominent researchers, and according to this list, you're in the top 2%,
Yes.
right?
Yes. It's so unimaginable, really. I couldn't believe this because it happened in just, can I say maybe just almost 2 years, of being into this field, into this career, because I finished my PhD exactly January last 2019. So in few months from now, it will be 2 years into my profession. So within 2 years, I can't actually believe that I've been able to achieve such a huge success. But I think personally, I would really want to give thanks to God, you know, because yes,
it's
really,
the blessing of God.
Yes,
but it's not only the blessing of God. There should be something about you, right?
Yes, so many things actually, but the most important thing, personally, if I should admit, is the blessing of God, the grace of God, you know, because it's not easy. Even if you don't have, imagine you don't have a good health. How can you write? How can you study?
Exactly,
so this
especially
is very
during the
important.
pandemic, it's your
Exactly.
health, it's your psychologist,
Exactly.
one of the most important factors.
Exactly.
And there should be something behind us, because
course.
I have seen your the esteemed wife
Yes.
on the stage. She should also, she should have been also supporting you.
Yes.
Right.
Apart from God factor, another factor is the family factor. And when I mention the family factor, I will come first. I will mention my wife. She's been a good support in this field, because actually why it is quite easy for her to support is because she's also in the field. She's an academician, she's a researcher, so she could understand, okay?
Right.
When I decide, for
see.
instance, when I decide to pick up my laptop while I'm having my meal and to look into some of papers while I'm eating, she could understand, okay, because she's in the field.
Right,
yes.
right,
So,
okay.
yeah.
So it's so lucky of you that you're both researchers,
Yes.
and also you have the same, it's the tastes, like you're
exactly.
working in almost in the same discipline.
Exactly.
And then I have heard that she's also working in the area of the sustainable
Tourism,
marketing. And
yes,
so it's
tourism
complementary,
and marketing,
right?
sustainability as well.
So Dr. Alola, sir, the university is very proud to have you as one of the most prominent researchers and research fellows in the university. And it's our esteemed dean, Professor Kürşat Yalçıner, who really saw the potential, the great potential in you, and who proposed you, who convinced you to have a full-time position in the university.
Yes.
Right? He's also named as the father of the professors, assistant professors.
I always refer to him as my father. Okay,
Right.
When you look at him, I mean, Professor Kusetoja, he has this father figure. You know, when you look at him personally, without even interacting with him, you will see that he has that posture of a father. You know, he's very calm, he's good looking. So I always say he's my father. I love him so much, okay? So if I have the opportunity over and over again, I want to be with him. I want to be in the same university that he has opportunity to administer. So he is a big, he's been a great support also for me in this university. Not only the dean, also the academic staff of the faculty. We have, yes, of course, we are very friendly.
International
exactly.
researchers,
exactly.
right? You're working in collaboration with them.
Yes, yes.
So the university is also providing you platform for international collaboration.
Yes. Oh my God. The university have quite been providing a good platform. And that is why this success story is not only about me, okay? That is why you can see, if you look into different departments in our university, you could see that we have several research staff who are doing excellently well in the area of the research, in the area of also academics. The reason for this success for every one of us is because we have this platform from the university. The university gives the moral support, also motivate, give opportunity for us to exercise the time that we have, okay? I mean, so when you have this platform, when you have this opportunity, you definitely should find yourself a successful researcher.
Right. So we would like to thank and salute Professor Kürşat Yalçıner for providing us such a great platformication, right?
Yes.
And then, other than Professor Yalçıner, right?
Yes.
What other factors? You had an impact. What other factors had an impact on you in working with İstanbul Gelişim University?
Yes, I must admit this. Okay, I always love to say this. the first time I came to Istanbul Gelişim University with with my wife, so we came to try to check in the rector's office to submit our CV. We want an opportunity to meet with the rector. So although we couldn't meet with the rector, we met with Assistant Professor Sedaoja, the General Secretary, and he gave a very, very outstanding, warm reception. So what I want to say is this. One factor that is very important to me, is dear in my heart, that I will always appreciate regarding Gelişim University, is the warm reception, not only from the academic staff, also from the non-teaching staff.
Yes, from the staff.
From the staff, because on that first day, when I came to Gelişim University, at the security gate in the rector's building, I introduced myself to the security. He asked if I have an appointment with the rector's office. I said, no, I don't have an appointment, but I exchanged emails. So do you know what he did? The security guy, led us in straight up to floor 6, and he made sure that Sedaoja was in the office. So when, he waited, and when Sedaoja came, he introduced also Sedaoja, and he left. For me, this is very, very important.
Right, he just didn't let you go through.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. The reception was
very helpful.
Very helpful.
Right,
so, and you could see this in the atmosphere, around the campus.
So it's the reception, the kind reception, that had an impact on you.
Yes, yes.
And what else could you say about it? It's the supporting environment. It's the collaborative culture of the university, we said. What about the vision of the university?
Yes, I feel one of the areas I really want to appreciate the university is in terms of internationalization. Because I try sometimes, to check the profile of some universities around Turkey, in Istanbul, or around Turkey, and just even of recent, few months ago, my younger sister, I was trying to search for PhD admission in Turkey for my younger sister. And could you believe we couldn't find...
She also does PhD?
She's currently a PhD student.
Oh, it's yes. Istanbul Gelişim University?
Not here, in Yeditepe University.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
So I was trying to search for English programs. So what I discovered is that most of the universities in Turkey don't have English programs in so many fields. So, but Gelişim, the number of English programs we have in our university is huge. And this has been a factor, that's a selling factor to international students. And that is why you can see we have quite a huge number of international students. I guess our university has the largest international students in Turkey.
Exactly, yeah, it's true.
Also, in terms of staff, also highly internationalized. Yeah. So this is a very good point for the university.
Right. I'm also teaching English classes and sustainability management, and half of my class is they're coming from various countries, including from Middle East, Africa, and even from the Balkans.
Yes, exactly.
And Europe as well.
Exactly.
Right.
You could imagine in your class you have the Turkish student in your class, you have Lebanese, you have Jordanians, you have Malians, you have students from different countries. You might not have the opportunity. For instance, I haven't traveled to Iran, I haven't traveled to Iraq, I haven't traveled, but I've met these students.
They invite you to Iran and to, I don't know, even to Europe.
Yes. And you interact with the students, and you could learn about the culture of these countries from the students. So it's such a lovely environment. Yeah.
Exactly. So before, now we can move to how to publish a good article in a top-tier journal. And we know that in a very short time, you published 70 articles in Web of Science Index, as well as Scopus Index journals, in a such short period of time. And then I was just wondering if this professor is not sleeping at all or not, if he's a robot. And I came to meet you, you're a real person, it's made up of real blood and flesh, right? So could you tell us what is the secret behind this? How did you fit all those like the articles, like, and then the 40% of those articles are published in the year like 2020.
Yes. So, precisely within 2 years, so by God's strength, I've been able to publish about maybe about 80 articles in Web of Science or Scopus index journals.
Yeah, my kudos to you.
Yes.
Salutations.
Yes. So this is huge success. Okay, I must admit this. Okay.
Yeah.
But I would really want to say that it is not possible for me to have published 80 international peer-reviewed articles, you know, without actually referencing the fact that I had the opportunity to collaborate with people who are of like mind with me.
Okay, right.
So for me, as an individual, it is not possible. I cannot write I mean, it's not possible to have 80 articles by myself,
right?
As a single author.
So the secret is like finding the right collaboration,
like-minded
people.
Right-minded people. Right-minded people. This has been.
How did you meet those like-minded people? Like in the uni, like outside at a conference, or?
This is what a lovely question. One of the things I mean. This success, there is no, it's not possible for me to talk about this without referencing my university. Some of these collaborators, we met in my university during my PhD programs, okay? One of the things my university, I actually really appreciate is that, and my university has this benchmark, okay, that as a PhD student, you should publish at least one study, one article that is published in a journal that is indexed in Web of Science.
Oh, really?
Yes. Okay. So it should be SSCI, it should be SCI, it should be AHCI. It should be not just Scopus, but it should be in Web of Science. So this is a benchmark. So as a PhD student, we learned that the only chance for us to escape this trap is to.
This is one of the most hindrances.
Yes.
The blocks that you have to overcome.
Exactly.
Right.
We realize that this is a huge task. How can we publish? You know.
Right.
So about 3 years ago, it was like a dream. Okay. So we decided to say, okay, we cannot change this benchmark. For instance, we cannot change this policy of the university.
Okay.
The only thing we can do is
immutable.
Right? Yes, it's immutable. Okay, right. So we have to force ourselves. You know, we have to challenge ourselves. So in doing that, what we learn to do. So I have a group of about 4 very hardworking friends.
Okay. That's why in order to overcome this obstacle, you had to come together like as a collaborative team.
Exactly. We came together.
Right. Okay.
So we spent our nights together. Okay. Could you imagine? Of course, I'm married. About 2 of them of us also are married. Only maybe
you
1
have
or 2.
Kids as well, by the way?
Yes. For me, no, I don't have kids. But 2 of them also had kids. Okay. Maybe 1 or 2 of them are not married. Irrespective of our marital status, so we share most times our nights together. So sometimes we sleep over on the campus in our offices.
Oh my God!
Yeah, really. Yeah. So we put that huge pressure.
Such a great concession.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
From your time, it's the totally dedicated to.
Exactly.
It's the laser sharp focus.
Exactly.
And the research.
Exactly.
Right.
So why? Prior to our graduation time, maybe a few months to our graduation, we already had about 30, 40 papers under review. Yes, imagine. We haven't graduated yet, but we had 30 papers under review, you know, and maybe 4 or 5. Yes.
Even before graduation.
Even before graduation.
Right. You have like the 30 papers.
Yes.
It's the in review.
Yes.
Right.
So we share this information among ourselves. Okay. So that is why some of us we are almost on the same level, because the progress rate, we are doing everything in the same way, and our plan is to achieve this success. We know that we need to do something extraordinary in order for us to break that barrier. So what we did is to stay together, committed together, and that is why we can see this huge success in a very short time.
So in essence, the key short away, number one, is the work in collaboration.
With the right mind.
The right
people,
mind, what
people
the
with
right-minded
mind.
people.
Yes.
Right, this is number one.
Yeah.
And then I would like to ask you a question about, like, since you have like a lot of expertise in publishing in top-tier journals. And concerning the most common strengths of papers that get accepted into top-tier journals, and what could you say?
Yes, one of the common strengths could be the title. Okay, so if I talk about the title, that means I'm talking about the idea behind the study.
Right.
So if you have a good idea,
the ideation is important.
Idea is very important.
Right. And how do you come up with the ideas?
In so many ways. For instance, for me personally, I love to listen to events around me. So I'm very conversant with international news.
Okay.
For instance, I haven't been to Russia, I haven't been to Brazil, I haven't been to China, but I can tell you so many of those live events, some of the events in the past that happened in these countries that I read online, which are true, and you can actually get some insight, idea for some of these events around.
Listening to the events and the news, huh?
Yes, that is one of the ways you can come up with ideas.
What programs do you listen to? What are the publications, or like, could you name a few? Like
one of the things I love to read or to go through, we have various international agencies. For instance, International Energy Agency, IEA.
Okay.
We have Intergovernmental Framework on Climate Change.
Okay.
Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC. So some of these international agencies often release either monthly or yearly reports.
Okay.
So if you look into some of those reports, you can see, handful of ideas. So these are very good resource that every researcher should try as much as possible to create time, buy those time and try to look into some of those materials.
Right. So it's the feeding yourself with these reports of the international publishers or organizations, as you mentioned,
yes.
And then after you come up with an idea, so you're defining a problem, huh?
Yes, because when you look into some of these, you could actually see in fact, as a matter of fact, some of these intergovernmental agencies actually you can see the highlight of those problems.
Okay.
Yes,
right.
so you could actually see some of these highlights that you are quite familiar with, and that you think that, okay, you can do something about.
This could be a problem.
This could be a problem.
And
this could be a good research topic.
Right, and then if it is interesting to you, you
Yes.
define the problem.
Exactly.
Out of these emerging ideas.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Concerning the common strengths, what do you think? Which is more important? Is it the empirical rigor, or it's the theoretical rigor, or it's the analytical rigor? Which one is most important, or all of them?
If you talk about the common strength, okay, from the previous question you asked about the common strength, when I mentioned about idea and the topic and the title, okay, because if you have a good idea and you are able to put your idea in a very good title, so
okay.
What I mean by good title, the title should be captivating. If someone look up to the title, someone should directly fall in love with it. try to like it.
Okay. It should enslave him.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is very important point also for the editors. The editor sometimes could be deceived or could be quick, to admit.
So the title is one of the most important things.
Yes, one of the most important.
A good article. Huh?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a common strength Okay. Also, if you look into any article, okay, after the abstract, one of the area that is also serves as a common strength is the introduction part, which talk about the background of the study. Okay. Because the background of the study will show how much. Okay.
It's the introductory part, you say.
Introductory
right?
part,
It's
yes.
We are not mentioning about the abstract, but
No,
the introduction.
Introduction part.
Right.
Yeah. So introductory part, we actually speaks how much the author has expanded the scope. Okay. So it is quite so important because in the introduction you can bring in so many interesting topics or topical issues, concerns, that could trigger, the interest of the prospective editor or reviewer. So these are common strengths that you could find in coming up with a good article.
Okay, so it's the normally like it's the how many pages or how many words should be in an introductory section?
Introductory section, maybe I can say maybe it depend. Okay. Why I say it depend is sometimes you could try to come up with an article without, an article that doesn't have a structured literature review. So it means that when you write your introduction part, okay, you can incorporate maybe a paragraph or two to broadly talk about the previous studies. So in that case, you are expected to have more pages of your introduction section. Okay. So in the other part, if you try to write an article that have a separate introduction, a separate section for introduction, and separate section for literature review. So in that case, the introduction section can be maybe three pages. Okay. 3 pages should be okay, or even 2 pages. Maybe 3 paragraphs can be enough in this case.
Okay, but normally you say it's the 2-page introduction is a good one.
It's a good one,
right?
Yeah, it's a good one.
It could be up to 3 pages.
It could be up to 3 pages.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And it could be extended. Maybe if you have an extended introduction, so it means without the literature section. So you could have maybe even 5 pages.
Right. Okay. So it's the other question that I would like to raise is what are the fatal errors that the authors make when writing an article?
This is very important. Okay. I would like to talk about myself.
Yeah,
okay.
Get the mistakes.
Yes, I would like to talk about my own mistakes. Okay. One of the mistakes that I often make, which also I try to caution myself, is that when I pick up an idea, okay, to start a research. So while doing this research, maybe at the introduction section or at the literature section, certain other ideas similar, okay, will start coming in, okay. So sometimes I could easily be trapped, okay, by buying into some of those extra ideas. So what do I mean? What I mean is, if you're not careful, okay, don't forget you have just one idea. You've started with this idea, but along the line,
so you need to be focused.
You need to be focused because along the line, certain ideas, certain information are coming. So you should be so careful to select which one should be added, which one shouldn't be added. Okay,
right.
because there are certain information or idea that will come. Okay, if you're not careful, if you add such, it will you might have a very confused study. Okay, so when you have an idea, it's good to be very focused.
It should be simple and lean.
Very simple.
The ideation is like really
very
important.
Simple. Yes.
See, sometimes I do the same mistake. Because I get excited.
Yes, you get excited.
Right, I'm reading and then I would like to present all of the ideas into one page.
Yes.
But this is a mistake, right?
So sometimes you always think, oh, I need to put this, I need to say this to impress
out of excitement.
Yes, out of excitement to impress the editor. But you should be careful because sometimes if you have a whole lot of ideas or a whole lot of information, okay, it means that from your article there is no precise question. You are not trying to answer precise questions, so it becomes so broad. Okay,
Right.
so in that way, it's not so good. For me, I consider it as a common mistake. I think it's common to everyone. For me, also, it's common to me. So I try as much as possible to be careful about this
Right.
when I'm writing an article.
This could be, maybe we could make an analogy like you're invited to dinner, right? There are so many foods on the table, and instead of like having like 10 of them and eating them, you should be choosing like 2 or 3 by max. Huh?
Yes.
Otherwise, your stomach will be upset.
You go with the constipation.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. You will get constipated.
Exactly, you get constipated.
And your stomach will be upset as well.
Exactly.
Right? And concerning the fatal, the deadly mistakes, the
what?
The deadly mistakes.
Okay, the deadly mistakes.
We go on still, like under the second title. And what about the conceptual foundation? It's a weak conceptual foundation is also a fatal mistake, huh?
Yes.
Right.
Every idea should be linked to theoretical concept. Okay. For instance, if you have an idea about working about, maybe you have an understanding of a particular region or a particular set of countries, and you are trying to work about maybe economic growth of such countries. You should have, for instance, if you are trying to measure how the economic growth of such countries has been so maybe erratic, not stable, you should try to see is that a concept behind this. Okay, can you link this study to a particular theory in economics? Because for every concept you have should actually have basis, theoretical basis. So if there is no theoretical basis, whatever the idea is as good as not even having idea.
Right. So what you're saying, your theoretical background should be strong.
Should be strong.
Yeah.
Yes.
Otherwise,
there is no basis. I mean, there is no. It's like having a building, but there is no foundation. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. This is like the theoretical foundation.
Yes.
It's like the foundation of a building.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And what about the managerial implications? Like when I'm reading articles, like I'm in the School of Business and I'm coming from the industry.
Industry, yes.
Right. I worked in the industry for more than 16, 17 years. Then I switched back to academia. Right.
Oh, lovely.
And sometimes when I read articles which have the managerial implications, it makes sense to me because I could use it like in the business.
Yes.
What about the articles have like a strong managerial implications? Do we do research for the sake of research or for the sake of business or both of them? What do you think?
Yes, I would say this, in the early time of my research, I discovered that, especially the first few articles I wrote, I discovered that the reviewers always mention about policy implication. I could remember some of those articles. Some of the reviewers would ask about or make a statement like the article is good, but there is no there is no policy implication behind this. I mean, there is no useful policy. So I was wondering, what does it mean? So it took me a long time, to be able to actually understand how important, policy implication is regarding every article. So for every article, for all article, there should be a separate either section or paragraph that should capture policy. It could be managerial policy, like you said, business policy, like you said.
Right.
If it is about the environmental studies, it could be environmental policy, So for every article should have this.
What it means for the policymakers, right? What it means for business managers.
For the business managers.
Right? We should be also presenting this,
exactly.
Otherwise, why we do research?
Yes. So every article should have should stand a chance, of improving something, or bringing policy to the table, of the government, for instance, of private sectors, for instance, of big business entities, for instance. So this is a very important area.
Okay, so where do you obtain your data sources? Like,
I think
I know that it's when I was reading your resume, that I was screening it, you graduate from the Department of Mathematics.
Yes, mathematics,
right?
okay.
And then you're quite good in like the R programming.
Oh, not okay.
Right? What do you do? Like from the R, you do it like through the surveys or the panel data?
First, okay, like you said, I did my bachelor studies in mathematics, the graduate class, that is the master's class in applied mathematics and computer science. So naturally, I love numbers, naturally.
Okay.
Yes. So
this is your tendency.
Yes, yes. Naturally, I love numbers. So, and I have my PhD in economics. So how we come about some of the data that we use in our studies, you could see in every study, there should be a section that should specifically define, the source of the data. So in so many of our articles, we've used data from the World Bank.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
World Bank is so huge in terms of
This is
resource.
called panel data. Huh?
No. I mean, I'm talking about the raw data now from those sources.
Right.
Okay. So it depends on whatever studies you want to do. If it's going to be a panel study or a time series study, but the source of the data could be maybe World Bank. Okay. Could be British Petroleum.
Okay.
Different sources. Also, some sources. Data are also available. Data are also available in some sources, but maybe not free.
Right.
Okay, but in World Bank is largely free.
As far as I understand, World Bank is an important data source.
It's an important data source.
Okay.
Huge data source. I mean, you could virtually find all type of data that you want.
Right.
Okay, for an
Right.
empirical study.
Right. And by the way, before we move on, I know that you have participated to a lot of programs designed by the World Bank.
Yes,
right?
by the World Bank. Yes.
You got trainings, and you also got like media certifications.
Yes.
How did you get accepted into the World Bank programs?
Yes, I don't know. maybe my CV, I don't know, but what I did was I just look at the requirements. Okay, some of the requirement could be you should be a manager in an industry, you should have bachelor, you should be at least minimum of postgraduate studies. So what I did was to just send in my application, and I got accepted. So I think between 2013 and 2015, I did about between 5 and 7 different programs with the World Bank. And
right, in a few years, huh?
Yes,
again,
yes,
like
yes. So, and these programs are quite in my area of interest. Okay, environmental areas, economic issues. So, and they are of course so demanding because you have series of assignments, homeworks to submit. You have deadlines. Of course, it's online. But quite rigorous. So
okay, there's no other way, especially during the pandemic,
yes,
other than online.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So if we come back to the subject of publishing a
Publication.
good article, like what does publishing an impactful paper mean to you?
Oh my God, I really want to say that I have a dream. Okay. That is quite bigger than me. Okay, I see myself. Okay, I see myself impacting the world. Okay, scientifically.
Okay.
Okay, this is a dream that I have.
You want to have an impact in the world.
In the world.
In science.
Yes. Yes. I see myself. I mean, not just now. I thought of this even right from childhood. So I know this is a very huge dream. I mean, almost impossible. I mean, for me to achieve this. So, but I know that one of the ways to achieve this is, for instance, I'm a scientist. I'm writing articles, making publications. So I realized that one of the ways to achieve this is to actually come up with a study that we sell, okay, to policymakers, we sell to institutions across the globe, okay? And you couldn't believe that, for instance, one of the famous guy in our field, David Stern, is an Australian professor,
In economics?
In economics, and
Okay.
specifically in environmental economics.
Okay.
So a couple of months ago, I sent him an email. He's a very famous guy. So I sent him an email, and fortunately, he replied almost immediately. So I said, hello, Professor. I'm so excited about your CV, your achievement. That can I just ask that how my question was, how do you accomplish this success? Okay, because he is a very renowned person, David Stan. Okay,
David Stan.
Yeah, David Stan. So
Okay.
Professor David Stan. So, and he said to me, he said something. He said, just try doing what you are doing, and keep your eye. He said for now, I keep my eyes on those difficult challenges. Okay, he put it this way. So what I see is that if you want to make an impactful study, you should look for very challenging, uncommon problems.
Right, okay.
Okay, so if you try to solve this problem, maybe not totally, if you even attempt to solve this problem, you could end up writing your name in history. So one of the ways to achieve an impactful study is to look out for a very difficult question to answer.
Okay, so providing alternative solutions, answers for an unsolved problem.
Problems, yes.
And sustainability is one of those areas.
Yes,
Like it's such a huge domain, as I mentioned.
Yes.
And you're recommending. And you're also benefiting from the other disciplines, such as the marketing, or I don't know, economics, statistics, psychology, maybe. Huh? Do you read like it's the cross-field studies?
Yeah. For if you notice in my articles, okay, I have couples of article studies in the field of tourism. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
And tourism as well.
Yeah, tourism. Okay. But I'm not a student of tourism. Okay. But I have couples of people around me. For instance, my wife is an assistant professor in tourism management. So, by default, so I have to, study tourism. So
you end up being in tourism as well.
Exactly. So occasionally I try to look into tourism articles, tourism papers, just to read up,
which broaden
my knowledge, expand my knowledge. Yes.
Right. Cool. So it's so nice that you're so lucky to have like such a good wife.
Yes.
Like
it's a privilege for me.
So the other one that I will raise a question is, how can authors incorporate rigor into their articles?
I think I will also use myself as an example here. One of my weakness is this. I think I'm so blessed, okay, to come up with very strange idea. Yes, I should admit this. I'm so blessed to come up with very strange idea. But I have this weakness, okay? If I come up with very strange idea, I want to do it as fast as possible, okay? I want to be quick about it.
Yeah,
I want to put everything out. I want to do it as soon as possible. But this is not so good sometimes, okay? I've learned that this is not also so good. As a researcher, it's good to put a bit of rigor. What do I mean? It's good, for instance, if you've come up with an article, okay, it's finalized. You can try as much as possible to give it to a colleague, maybe give it to you. Can you read it? Can you go through it? Okay, maybe just to make some corrections about the typos. This is good. Okay.
Even if you jot a bit like on the paper,
exactly.
like even if sentence makes a difference.
Exactly, it makes a difference really, because there are certain errors or mistakes that are not pardonable. Okay, for instance, if you send an article to a particular journal and the editor comes to look at it, okay, there are certain errors that upset the editor. Okay, so when the editor is upset, immediately your article is desk rejected.
Okay, it's declined in the first place.
Yes, but some of these, some of these errors are avoidable if you create more time, to give to a colleague to look into it. I have couples of friends around me who are more detailed, okay? They're very detailed, okay? There are pros and cons to this, but sincerely speaking, it is advantageous to be detailed, okay? If you are detailed, if you pay attention to tiny errors, it could make that significant difference in your article.
Right. So what you're saying is that interacting with peers.
Yeah,
again,
interacting
is
with peers.
Very
yes.
important in the academia.
Yeah, it's
right?
very important.
It's very important. It's the maybe two different eyes.
Yes, two different eyes.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly,
yes, yes.
Yeah. So it's the. And please complete and discuss the following sentence.
Okay.
When a young scholar gets a rejection letter,
okay,
the first thing they should do is.
The first thing they should do is to disallow discouragement, okay? When you get a rejection letter, try as much as possible not to be discouraged, okay? It is not the end. That is not the end of that paper. As a matter of fact, that is the beginning of that paper. So oftentimes we get discouraged. But I think I should mention this. I published my first article. It was accepted around July 2018. Okay, and it was published in September 2018 or October. So now, this article, before that, it was rejected by, I can't really say, but maybe more than between 5 and 10 different journals. Okay, so when we have these rejections, actually it could be very frustrating. Okay. Maybe the comments of the reviewers could be frustrating. You know, some reviewers
get aggravated.
Exactly.
Right?
Some reviewers make derogatory statements, so it could be so discouraging. So, so when you have an article that is rejected, don't be discouraged. Okay, try as much as possible to look into those points. Okay, those comments, and try to see are they meaningful? Are they meaningful? If they are meaningful, try to attend to those comments. And again, try to resubmit the same article to different journals.
In fact, they're giving you feedbacks
yes.
to correct yourself.
Yes.
So it's the we are running short of time,
okay.
Dr. Alola. So the last question is, what advice do you have for others in the review process? And then after answering this question, it's the finalize our interview.
Okay. Yes. To authors, because most authors are also reviewers. Okay. One of the advice I want to give to authors who are reviewers is that we should, because I'm also reviewing for different articles, journals, we should try as much as possible as authors or as reviewers to be polite, okay, in our comments, okay. We shouldn't make certain comments that are derogatory, that could affect the morale of the authors.
Right.
So they are not so kind.
The role should be positive.
Should be positive, even if the comment is about rejection. Okay, there are better way to make those comments so that the author won't feel so disappointed. And in doing that, it encourages authors a lot. I consider this as an important way to go.
Okay. So, Dr. Alola, we would like to thank you very much on behalf of the rector and the dean, and we would like to also thank you to the webinar participants.
Thank you.
Who are listening to us now, and maybe later. It's being recorded, and it'll be published on some social media sites such as YouTube and Instagram.
Thank you so much.
Stay tuned.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for being a faculty member in the Faculty of Economics, Administrative and Social Science, and a faculty member in the great Istanbul Gelişim University. It's a privilege.
It's our honor, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.